been paying attention, my name is Graeme. And just before I start properly, I'd like to thank the other speakers, Brian, Neil, and of course David. I've been told that David actually has another poem already, just in case I don't fill up my allotted time. So I do. Me and Neil have been friends for the entire 26 years that I've been alive, which is about 5 months after Neil. And that time we've grown up together, we went to Sunday school together, we've had season tickets at Dunfermline together, we went to university together, and we've lived together. To be honest, after all that time, there isn't much I don't know about Neil. I even know the story of how he was conceived. Can't let it down, I'm not going to tell that story. If anyone does want to know, just make sure.
See you later.
That's how everyone at Neil's 18th birthday found out. A terrific person, a loyal friend, and apparently an excellent primary school teacher. Mary met Neil in 2010. I'm sure Mary remembers fondly the day that she met the love of her life. Personally, I'm not quite sure how much Neil remembers, but he didn't remember any of it the next day, when he sat in our flat on Facebook trying to find the name of the number, the name of the girl he'd got the number of the night before. Luckily, he eventually did remember it, or we wouldn't be where we are today. And on behalf of the bridesmaids and myself, I'd just like to thank you both for allowing us to play such a massive part in your big day. And it's been great. As I mentioned earlier, myself and Neil were thrown together as children, and have been pretty much inseparable ever since. As a result, I think out of everyone here, apart from the happy couple, my life changed the most when Neil met Mary. Suddenly, things that Neil used to do with me, we now do with Mary. He used to go to the pub to watch football together, then he went to the pub to have dinner with Mary.
Oh.
Instead of seeing Toy Story 3 with me. Mary, I don't know if you remember that romantic weekend you took in Ely in 2010, 2009. I don't want to sound too bitter though. I'm truly incredibly happy that Neil managed to meet such a wonderful and beautiful person as Mary. And I think we can all agree that she looks great today.
Absolutely.
In truth, I'm also a little bit relieved that he managed to meet someone else. That may like to say, because I was wondering if this day would ever happen. And that may sound like quite a mean thing to say, but I do have my reasons. 7 years ago, me, along with my entire family, were invited to Neil's parents' 25th wedding anniversary at a halfway house in Kingsey. I was on driving duties that night, so I was stone cold sober. Neil, on the other hand, didn't have any such restrictions. And as the night wore on, he became very tired, very emotional, and clearly feeling the love in the air. So after the speeches, which involved another poem from David, Neil wandered over, sat down next to me and stared lovingly into my eyes. And he said, "Graeme, when are you and I going to get married?" So as close as me and Neil are, he really isn't my type. So I'm happy that he eventually met someone a lot better suited and better looking than myself. And if in 25 years Neil and Mary are doing as well as Neil's parents, then they'll both be truly blessed. And I hope that I'm invited to your anniversary party after you've heard the rest of the speech. It's actually very apt that I'm here today giving the speech on the day that Neil and Mary started their married life together, as I was actually also there on their very first date. Neil, the old romantic that he is, took Mary, on their first ever date to our local pub quiz. Now normally Andrew, our other flatmate, who's over there, would have also been there, but with me already en route, he texted to say that he had to cancel. So initially I was a bit worried it'd be a bit awkward, just the three of us, but I needn't have worried. While Neil and Mary got to know each other better in the corner, I was able to watch Denmark beat Japan on the World totally undisturbed. If anyone's wondering, Japan won 3-1, 2 goals in the first half, 1 from Pondo, 1 from both free kicks. Sorensen should have done better at the first. Denmark eventually scored by penalty, and then Okazaki scored late on. 3-1. All in all, I thought it was a pretty good first date. That was the first time I met Mary, and although I didn't get much chance to talk to her then, every time I've met her since, I've become more and more convinced that how made for each other you are, and I'm positive the two of you will have a long and happy life together.
Yes, we
Although, in saying that, in order to ensure a happy life together, I'd recommend that from this point onwards, all competitive games are banned. A genuinely laid back and relaxed guy to see tonight, Neil is without a doubt the worst loser I've ever met. This is a guy who once tried to tackle someone in a friendly five-a-side game with his face and lost half of his nose in the process. Apparently it was the first injury at the new Town Hall AstroTurf pitches and needed an ambulance called out to it. While we were growing up, the only sport Neil would play me at was badminton. This was because one of us happened to be Fife champion. One of us didn't. We did eventually move on to play short tennis, where I actually had a 100% winning record over Neil. Now Neil's face may indicate that's not true, but since my speech comes last, I can say whatever. Of course, Mary won't be able to cut all sport out of Neil's life, as football is a massive part of it, both playing and watching. It was 13 years ago that me and Neil got our first season tickets in Dunfermline, and we've been to pretty much every game since together. To be honest, when Neil told me that Mary supports Celtic, I was a little bit taken aback, especially considering what Neil said about the Celtic fans after the 2004 Scottish and then again after the 2006 League Cup and then especially after what he said about the 2007 Scottish Cup. I can be serious though for just 1 minute. One day, in the not too distant future, there might be a couple of little Neils or little Marys running around, and you both have to make a very, very big decision. Will they go to watch Dunfermline with their dads, or will they be allowed to go on their own? My next tip for a long and happy marriage with Neil is to make sure that he's never ever left in a position where he has to make a decision on anything. Even obvious life-saving decisions are beyond him. Back in his Stirling University days, he suffered quite a serious asthma attack during the night. Despite the fact that he was struggling to breathe, he couldn't decide if the situation was serious enough to wake anyone or phone an ambulance. So we decided that we'd wait until the on-campus doctor was open, 7 hours later. So Neil sat up all night watching DVDs, panting away, until the doctor opened, where he walked there in the pouring snow. When he arrived at the doctor, he was sent straight to the hospital and spent about a week recovering. With this in mind, it was especially nice to see that when asked by the priest today, Neil made the quickest decision I've ever seen in making Mary his wife. Neil's poor decision making probably comes from his fear of confrontation. One of the first times Neil took Mary out in Dunfermline, we all met up for a drink. Neil bought Mary a bottle of cider, which Mary then poured into her drink. Now it's into her glass, sorry. Now it's unclear if it was already in the glass to begin with, or if it arrived with the drink, but there was now a very real dead spider. After the initial shock had died down, Neil was sent by Mary to the bar to see if he could get a replacement drink. Neil returned very, very quickly, having decided with the bar manager that it was just one of these things that happened. No replacement drink was coming. Mary, of course, had other ideas, and with the face that most of her school pupils must dread, she stormed up to the bar and within seconds came back with a brand new replacement drink. Helping Neil get ready this morning, it's nice to know that he's setting the tone for the marriage by not being the one who wears pants in this relationship. So I'm going to finish up now by telling a quick story from our stag do down in Newcastle. We made our way to a bar called Players. This was the bar that finally made David and Brian give up on the night. So I think that tells you all you need to know about Players. I just returned to the group after quickly making sure Neil hadn't disgraced himself in the toilet after his only short experience of the night. Just a wee tip to anyone who wants Neil to remember this day, don't buy him any drink over 5%. So I was standing with our old aforementioned flatmate Andrew. Now despite Andrew's clean-cut image, he also has a bit of a reputation for being a bit of a wild card and a lad. So it's important to point out here that Andrew has had quite a few drinks, most of which belong to him. We were happily standing on the balcony when this group of scantily clad girls came over and started giving us the eye, and you know, who can blame them? me on the shoulder. He says, Graeme, do you remember back in the uni days when me, you and Neil used to go out in the pool together for girls like that? So yes, I said, a little bit apprehensive about what was coming next. And Andrew said, to my surprise, well, that was rubbish, wasn't it? It's so much better now we've all found someone special. So we're going to ask you all to please stand and raise your glasses. To Neil and Mary.
Neil.
Someone special in his life.
Neil and Mary.
Thank you.